Welcome to another episode of Conscious Business Connections, brought to you by the New York City chapter of Conscious Capitalism. My name is Bob Caporale, and I'm joined today by Jay Frank of Symbiotic, located in Manhattan Island. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bob. It's a great pleasure to be here.
You bet. It's great to have you here. And we're going to have a great conversation, I'm sure. So Jay, as you know, conscious capitalism is more or less a movement that's focused around trying to help companies implement conscious business practices. And there's four areas that the organization talks about, ranging from higher purpose to leadership to culture to stakeholder engagement. And so on this show, what we try and do is highlight businesses that are embracing one or all of these kinds of practices, in the hopes that we can, talk about it and inspire other companies to do the same. So with all of that said, I know you have great things going on in this conscious space. Probably better for you to tell the audience about Symbiotic than me. So tell us what you have going on with Symbiotic. What exactly is it?
Okay, Symbiotic is a technology distribution channel where procurement equals giving. We are building a new version of a technology distribution platform where every transaction offers social impact in terms of embedded philanthropy. We're connecting the dots between motivated buyers looking for social responsibility to motivated sellers looking for profit and purpose, offering any technology service from most any carrier with the ability to support any cause.
That's awesome. So now this is probably a world that a lot of people are not as familiar with, right? This is kind of behind the scenes stuff. But when you're talking about procurement, so you have a company on one end that is looking for some services. You have a business on the other end, or businesses on the other end, that are looking to become suppliers to those companies. And so your channel is going to connect the dots between them. So is it kind of like a marketplace, would you describe it as, or something different?
Yes, it can be described as a marketplace, an ecosystem, a distribution channel. In terms of competition, more or less in terms of branded distribution channels, there aren't very many, even though there are hundreds, if not thousands, of existing distribution channels. The only one that I can show you as an example would be the behemoth Amazon.
Oh, okay. So it's that kind of a thing. Well, I guess that's right, right? Buyers and sellers kind of meeting together in a marketplace. So this is the same thing, but yours sounds to be, or seems to be focused in a specific industry. Is that right?
Correct. We're starting off in the industry that I know very well, have industry friends, resources, relationships, and whatnot. Ever since deregulation of local phone service in 1996, I've been in channel sales, and I see the possibility or the opportunity to shift channel or indirect sales from profit only to profit and purpose.
Got it. Now tell us what, again, these are terms that probably most people are not familiar. When you talk about channel sales, what exactly are you talking about there?
So the indirect sales channel we offer is just a conduit connecting buyers and suppliers to end users with indirect sales partners. So indirect sales partners is the channel distribution, work all within this channel or conduit ecosystem or whatnot.
Oh, got it. So you're talking about, but now, so back to the other question when we talked about the specific industry. So Amazon's huge, right? I mean, we're dealing with the consumer marketplace space. You're not trying to do Amazon. This is more business to business type things, right?
Absolutely. Business to business, starting off with IT infrastructure services, traditional telecommunications,
Got
cloud
it.
services, cloud connectivity, data center, co-location, conferencing, any business class infrastructure for IT services.
Okay, now it's becoming a little clearer. So now then we get to the twist on that, right? Which is, it's not just this channel sales or this marketplace, it's actually connected to companies who specifically want to put some of their dollars towards some charitable or purposeful venture. Tell us a little bit about how that works and how it differs from kind of your standard channel sales marketplaces.
So traditional channel sales is a lot of relationship based, trying to find the best solution for the opportunity or the requirement at hand. Whereas we're looking to shift the the whole channel from, this crowded space to the empty space of social impact sourcing and
Mhm.
procurement and buying, knowing that it's empty and nearly all sales can be addressed indirectly.
Mhm.
We are looking to stake claim and build and brand and expand into other verticals. But first, we're looking to brand Symbiotic to attract opportunities, whereas every transaction offers social impact, and that's a clear differentiator in terms of the ease of sustainability that we bring into the fold.
Got it. So social impact is really the key. Can you give us an example of what you mean by that? Because I think some people might be interpreted that people are buying social impact services, but that's not really what it is, right? They're buying traditional services, but there's a
Right.
social impact element to it, correct? Tell us a little bit
Correct.
about how that works.
So we're building a brand where social impact is enabled on everyday transactions. So, for example, Etsy, which is an online marketplace for home goods or whatnot, they committed to carbon neutrality. They would be an ideal customer for us, knowing that they're interested in social impact and carbon neutrality. So they have everyday traditional telecommunications, cloud services, and whatnot. If we were able to get in front of one of those opportunities with our sales partners, we can win on the front end of the opportunity merit. And once and only once we win, the business at hand with solution and cost and whatever requirements are favored for the end user, we then shift into the embedded philanthropy, which is more or less a donation, an indirect donation from Etsy to whatever social impact partner or nonprofit they wish to support. And by doing so, we know we can do so by shifting the cost of acquisition for the sale, shifting the commission earned on building or at finding that sale. Excuse me.
Got it. Yeah, and you're using Etsy as an example, right? But at
Correct.
the but not necessarily that they're part of it at this point. But at the end of the day, what you're saying, if I'm following this, is that you're looking to work with businesses that are interested in making a difference in some way, that have embraced some type of conscious, objectives and things of that nature, and then you'll connect them with the right types of suppliers, and then the idea is some portion of whatever their spend is will end up going to some philanthropic cause. um,
Absolutely.
and how does that get chosen? Is that something that the buyer chooses, the seller chooses, you choose? Like, who chooses where that kind of philanthropy money would go to?
The end user chooses directly who they wish to support indirectly.
In other words, the buyer.
Correct. The end
Okay.
user is the buyer.
Yep.
They're the ones, and the buyer doesn't spend one penny more to procure any services. We have to win on the front end, and the back end offers the social impact embedded philanthropy to the charity of buyer's choice.
Got it.
Furthermore, we're looking to map the social impact generated from the start to the end. Whereas, where let's just say, for example, Etsy buys internet from Verizon, and we're the partner of record, and we're shifting that transaction towards profit and purpose. We can show Etsy supporting Greenpeace, perhaps,
Mhm.
knowing that they're looking to offset their carbon footprint. And further beyond that, to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, it corresponds to number 13, climate change. In that,
Got it. Got it. So in this case, then the money would be diverted over to some philanthropic cause. The buyer chooses that. But one thing I'm trying to get my head around is, where does that money come from versus a traditional model, right? Like, in other words, is it because you're lowering your costs some way? Is it something that the supplier has to lower their costs? Like, where does that dollar amount come from that you would be giving to these charitable causes?
it comes from the transaction, the cost of sale, the commission earned on every indirect sale comes with the commission back to the channel partner of record. Symbiotic would be that channel partner of record, and we're shifting that cost from traditional just profit only to profit and purpose. Purpose being the social impact or
The
embedded.
social impact pause. So for the most part, you're taking it out of your profitability.
correct, and our sellers' profitability, but in tandem with trying to lower the cost of business acquisition via branding and the like.
Got it. So at the end of the day, the seller gives a little, you give a little as well. The buyer gets the benefit of working with companies that they know are aligned with their values and aligned with their purpose. And kind of everybody wins in that chain, it sounds like, because the suppliers get hooked up with really good buyers, everyone's giving to really good causes, and they are all sharing common purpose and interest. That's kind of the idea. Yeah.
Absolutely. In this realm, we're looking to define profit and purpose. Literally, we're looking to brand and attract opportunities, lowering the cost of business acquisition, putting more passion in the day, shifting from kickback on the sales model to impact.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. So at the end of the day now, I know that this is early in the venture, so it's still a bit conceptual, right? If I'm not mistaken. Tell us about, some of the challenges that you have in kind of building this and kind of where you are in the journey at this point. Is it very much a dream at this point? Is it, pretty much, moving ahead? Like kind of where are you in your journey?
It's it's a dream that's moving forward. My cards, my chips are all in on this premise.
Yeah.
For me, it's more or less a moral imperative, knowing that I have the vision and the ability to shift channel sales towards profit and purpose and help with the resources and skill sets and the knowledge that I have, help shift business towards a version of conscious capitalism, a
Yeah.
shining version of conscious capitalism where we can offer services from anybody to anybody, from Joe's Pizza to Coca-Cola, small business to enterprise business.
Yeah.
There's not many solutions for ease of impact, and we hope and we intend to build that. It's been a difficult road, but this is my only path in business. I've been on this path for nearly 15 years. I started a smaller version of this in 2008 entitled Telecom for Charity, which has evolved into this version.
Yeah.
Telecom for Charity was a small initiative of my Nice Touch Communications, which I co-founded in 97. And unfortunately, the premise at hand was a little before its time and was difficult to move forward, even though we did donate approximately $60,000 through efforts. That was primarily myself. And here we are looking to expand this channel into adoption, or where we could work through any sellers, any sellers in the space to attract any buyers. So building a new channel and branding it. I hope to launch within the next few months with funding from partners, which is where we're at right now, is funding to develop and brand.
Trying to get some investment dollar, which is interesting, right? Because at the end of the day, and what I really like about the model, from what it sounds like, is that you have skin in the game, right? It's not that you're just trying to connect people with purpose. You're actually saying we're going to put some of our commission into it, right? And commission that we would have gotten from this marketplace, we're going to be all in as well, which is really, really cool. Do you think that you'll have trouble attracting investors with that kind of model? This is always an interesting thought process for me, right? We think about, getting seed money or things of that nature. And look, it's no secret that a lot of investors are looking for maximum return. Is it a different profile of investor that you think you have to go after, or how do you think you're going to go through that?
Absolutely, it's a different place. It's a different investment strategy and whatnot, where we're looking to find funding partners from the ESG, environmental, social, and governance space, which to our to our happiness, or knowledge base, has performed better than traditional venture capital in pandemic. And this is considering the pandemic and the social uprising, Black Lives Matter, everything is in alignment towards building Symbiotic.
Now? Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
the return on investment will be significant, as well as the return on impact generated.
which is really cool. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about or think about, but return on impact is a great terminology. So really cool. Is there something you talk about, you've been doing this for a long time, and again, it's not common, right, that people will get into businesses like this with the idea of having a return on impact, as you say, rather than a return on investment, or, both are important, of course.
Sure.
But is there something in your life that kind of, steered you in this direction, or is this just something you've always kind of been passionate about? What was the trigger for this kind of a thing?
A lot of the above. It was at first, Telecom for Charity was more looking to brand the possibility of utilizing everyday business services for good on the front end and the back end, offering impact. Whereas it would attract business and lower the cost of business acquisition and win-win, making money and doing the right thing. So that was at first, but later on, I realized that it was more or less a necessity from my standpoint to stay focused on this platform or realm, because it has so much potential to shift everyday transaction and build a version of symbiotic economics, whereas we're shifting enough of the commission earned, the cost of sale, towards social impact partners, where they can in turn build out alternative fundraising plans as well by just putting a link up on their website and or newsletter. Any PTA, any nonprofit can utilize Symbiotic for alternative fundraising. And once opportunities are generated and brought back to our sales partners, we are in effect building a new version of a circular economy, which helps offset the cost of social impact.
Interesting. So the idea is not just to, be charitable, but rather find a way to, to integrate social impact into the profit model, right? Which is
Absolutely. Yeah,
which is
capitalism.
really what conscious capitalism is all about. So I couldn't think of a better example. So really cool. Well, I know we're getting kind of close to the end of our time here, but before we wrap up, I do want to ask you, is there any one nugget? I mean, you've been kind of passionate about this, thinking about this for some time in your career. I know this is just getting started, but even with that said, is there any nugget that you would want to leave our listeners with that could inspire them towards this idea of conscious capitalism?
I don't think there's any one nugget. There's several nuggets. I think the window of time left to shift everyday business towards a conscious capitalism model is slowly, it's against us. So we need to do, I believe, what we can with the resources we have. And if more people just open to conversation and talking about what they could do with their innate resources, I think we can shift business and utilize as a force for good, and trying to kick lip service in the mouth and talk about we can do with relative ease to
Yeah.
to get closer towards a sustainable planet Earth.
I'll tell you what, I mean, if there was one nugget I got out of what you just said, and I think I'll use this with your permission, kick lip service in the mouth. I think that is so cool, because it's so true. I mean, so many people do want to just give lip service to this stuff, right? And a lot of them do it for greedy reasons, right? They know it's going to draw more marketing to them and advertising and PR and stuff like that. Then you go inside some of the companies that are saying this and you're like, you're not practicing this. Some are, obviously, but some aren't, and
Yeah.
And you say that's just not the right way to go. But if you can say, look, if there's a cause or causes that you're really passionate about, let's find a way to integrate that into your normal profit model. So, it can cause you to do some great things for the world, but also at the same time, you could be lowering your costs, getting hooked up with great suppliers, right? Like, that's the win-win that I think people are looking for. So I think it's just great. Jay, I really appreciate you being on the show. I think it was a great conversation. Again, before we go, if somebody wants to find out more about Symbiotic and the things you're doing, where can they go and learn more?
We have a landing page at besymbiotic.com, and I am easy to reach and talk to about partnerships, relationships, or any of this space or this realm. Please reach out to me, jay@besymbiotic.com. And our hope is to brand being symbiotic.
That's awesome. Well, we'll put the link in the description, which is great. And again, thank you so much for being here. And to everyone out there, thank you for joining us. I hope you learned something and I hope you got something out of this episode. If you did, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, ask your friends to subscribe, and share the episodes. This is all about education, right? We're trying to inspire people towards these great causes. So hopefully you'll help us in that endeavor. So with all of that said, thank you again for joining. We'll see you back here on another episode. And Jay, thank you again. We'll see you as well.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. Have a
Okay.
great day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.